My name is Jean Marie Herron. I'm a certified professional organizer and the business development manager for the Junk Luggers. My mission is to improve the quality of people's lives through the decluttering of their homes and offices in an eco-friendly and non-judgmental way. If you'd like to see more of these videos, simply click the subscribe button. Welcome everybody to this month's POSSE's May pen, and I have called it Round Robin Clutter Buster Strategies. I was trying to go with the theme of May and all of the robins outside my windows. I live in Bergen County, and the birds this time of year are very vocal. So it's going to be I'm going to give you guys 10 of my favorite decluttering strategies, and then I'm going to open it up to Q&A, and I want you guys to tell me your best decluttering strategies. So a couple things about housekeeping for anybody new on the call or listening to the recording. My name is Jean Marie Herron, and I'm a certified professional organizer, as well as the business development manager for the Junk Luggers of Northern New Jersey and Lower Hudson Valley. And this is our monthly Zoom POSSE's pen. It is being recorded. We'll do Q&A at the end. And you don't have to bother typing your questions into the chat box. We'll just say them verbally a little later on. We do this the third Wednesday of each month from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. And next month's topic is going to be decluttering on a very large scale, which actually I'm really looking forward to. Then we'll go into the Ask the Organizer and the closing. So number one in my book all the time when it comes to any kind of decluttering is planning it. So like right now, there's two things in my house that are bothering me from a cluttering perspective. The first one is a couple months ago, I had all of my photos digitized. And in order to do that, I took many, many photos out of my photo albums that I had kept for years and went through the digitization process, have everything the way I want on my computer. But now I have all these photos that need to go back. And when I look at it, it looks a little overwhelming to me, not like it's going to be very much fun. So I've been procrastinating. So I know that for me to put those photos back, I'm going to have to, on my calendar, schedule some dedicated time to that particular project. You know, so you might have things around your house that you want to declutter, and you have to say to yourself, if not now, when? And then estimate how much time you think it might take you. Go ahead and schedule it in your planner or on your phone, however you do your scheduling. And if you don't feel like you can do it in one fell swoop, think about breaking it down into little bite-sized pieces. So if I'm overwhelmed with the idea of putting all those photos back into 20-something albums, what I might want to do is say, I'm going to give myself, an hour once a week until the project's done. Somebody is off mute, so if you can please mute yourself, that would be much appreciated. All right, so there's your number one strategy. Love this. When in doubt, get it out. So here is a picture. Here is a picture. There's somebody not on mute. Could you please mute yourself, please? Thank you. When in doubt, get it out. So this is the conference room of the office that I work in. Obviously, we were in the middle of cleaning it up. But when I first came on board, this deer was hanging above my desk. And my new boss said to me, Jean Marie, if you don't want it, you can let it go. And it was my first day and I felt a little funny. And I'm like, well, let me just think about it for a little while. But what I should have probably said right away was, since I was doubtful, go ahead and get it out. So he eventually did make it out at the office. But I like the slogan, when in doubt, get it out, because most of the time, if you are wavering on a decision about an item relative to decluttering, chances are if you let it go, you will probably never, ever miss it. That's just my experience. Somebody else might tell you, oh, the minute I let go of something, I need it the next week. I haven't found that to be true, but we're all different. Next one is over a year or years, have no fear. So I tend to work with people who've been in their homes for decades, not just years, but decades. And Many times there are many things in our homes that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. So I like to say over a year, have no fear. You probably heard that when it comes to the seasonality of your clothes. So over a year, have no fear. The next one is one in, one out. And it doesn't mean the same type of thing coming in and going out. It just means being cognizant that every time you bring something, anything into your home, you're adding to your home. You're adding to your closet, you're adding to your kitchen, you're adding to, a bathroom, you're adding to whatever it is you just brought into the house. And to think, well, if I'm going to bring this in, can I let something go? Many of us park our cars and walk in with some kind of a bag. So the idea is when something comes in, take something out. And the idea of the category, so for example, if you buy a new pair of shoes, you might say, well, let me let go of another pair of shoes, but maybe you love all your shoes and you don't want to get rid of any of your shoes, but maybe you can get rid of a sweater, or maybe you can get rid of a mug, or maybe you can get rid of a stuffed animal. It's just the idea, one in, one out, because that's how clutter accumulates. So one in, one out. I love this one. I call this one, it's a shame to blame. And it's twofold. It's worry about your own organizing first, or take care of your own organizing first before you blame the clutter on somebody else. Part two of this is decide when you're living with other people, and some of us are, some of us aren't, but when you are sharing a home with other people, decide what is going to be private space and what is going to be shared space. So, bedrooms, for example, if you've got children at home, you might say to your son or your daughter, the bedroom's yours. You can do whatever you want in the bedroom. You can keep it as you want, whatever your rules are. Or maybe you have rules, laundry's got to be done once a week, etc. But then once you're outside of your bedroom and it's community space, the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, the playroom, whatever it is, since it's shared space, it needs to be, kept decluttered a certain way. So it's establishing your expectations and communicating them to whoever it is you're living with, so that you don't get frustrated with, the aesthetic state, if you will. So it's a shame to blame. Take care of your own organizing first, get yourself together, and then figure out, expectations in each part of the house. Rein in the retail. I'm sure you can all guess this. Especially it's so easy now to order things. It's a couple clicks of a button. We should all have shipping and receiving rooms attached to our houses at this point. But if you really, 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 really want to get decluttered, you want to stop shopping. So except for the basics, groceries and things you really need, try not to buy anything else, because then of course you're back to the mathematics and you're taking things into your house. And it's so much easier to get organized when you have less. The more stuff you have, the harder it's going to be to maintain, to clean, to keep an inventory, to know what you have, to know what you don't have. You might buy duplicates. So rein in the retail is a very good motto to stick with when you're trying to be decluttered. Mabel says to label. So this is all about labeling things. And I know when people think of labels, you think of files, not that a lot of people are filing anymore, but you think of those little tabs on the hanging file folders. But you can label many other things, especially if you find it tends to be a messy area. So I'm going to use a linen closet as an example. Many people will open up a linen closet and it's just a whole bunch of sheets and towels and pillowcases, but you might not know what sizes they are, so sheets, tablecloths, etc. If you do the work up front and say, okay, these are twin, these are full, these are double, these are queen, these are kings, this is a round, 60 by 60. And then you set up your closet with a label, it's going to be easier to put away, easier to use, easier to ask somebody else to change the bed or change the tablecloth. And this can be done in almost any room. I remember doing a a family that shared all of the kitchen responsibilities, and depending on the day of the week, somebody else was emptying the dishwasher. And so we ended up labeling most of the drawers in the cabinets in a way that you couldn't see the labels, so that anybody could come in and empty the dishwasher and know exactly where everything was going to go. So labeling is another good decluttering tip. And then giving everything a home. So, and I know you've all heard this. Oh, I must have had a timer on that. Everybody's idea of what is too much or too little is different. But if you dedicate a home for every stuffed animal, every stapler, the backup, staples, the toys, the games, etc., and the people who use that space know what the homes are, then it's really easy to find. And then you can say to yourself, when you've got, 30 bags of rubber bands, is this too much? Should I donate some? What do I want to keep? What don't I want to keep? Keep a donation bin and schedule regular pickups. So whether, you keep a basket in the laundry room, you keep something upstairs, giving yourself a monthly routine relative to scheduling a charity pickup is something that you always know is in process. You always know when something, comes out of a drawer or a kitchen cabinet or the dryer. You know what? I don't need this anymore, but I'm happy to donate it. Let me put it in the pickup bin. And then you just put a little note in your phone on a repeat that says call for a pickup. Repurpose with purpose. I know last month we talked a lot about memorabilia, but the idea here is in your decluttering, are there things in your home that you could redo with purpose? So this is a client's crib, considered memorabilia, and she didn't want the crib anymore, but she kind of wanted the memory of the crib. So she took 2 of the pieces and she turned it into a chair. So in your decluttering endeavors, are there things that you can repurpose that give a functionality? Boundaries help. So when you're thinking of a particular category, I'm going to use books here as the example. Do you want to say 10 books, 100 books, 1,000 books? So do you want to go with the number of the item? Do you want to go with the space size? Do you want to go with 1 bookcase, 14 bookcases? Or maybe do you want to go with a financial boundary, $100 worth of books, $2,000 worth of books? So when you have items and you want to declutter them, think about the boundary that you want to keep in place. So boundaries are really, really helpful. And then when you're decluttering, you want to say to yourself, is this special or not so special? This was, when my daughter was young, she loved dolls. And so what would happen is everybody would buy her dolls, everybody. So there was only so many dolls she could play with. So many dolls ended up in our attic. And then when she got older, we had to say, what's special, what's not so special. And then she let go of almost everything, because by the time we went through the attic and she was going off to college, nothing was really special. Okay, so we're going to open it up in just a couple minutes because I want to hear all of your decluttering strategies. And next month, I already told you, it's going to be decluttering on a very large scale. So that's going to be on June 15th. I just wanted to mention at the Junk Luggers, and I'm just going to speak to this for one brief second, and then if you want any more information, email me. But as you know, we do a lot of charitable donations because we're an eco-friendly furniture and junk removal company. And we have this one charity called Round 2 Resources, where this particular CEO finds a donor of folks who want to donate their furniture, and then she finds a recipient, and the giving goes from the donor to the recipient. So if anybody wants more information about Round 2 Resources, let me know. I have my first e-waste event coming up this Sunday from 11 to 2 at Terry O'Connor Real Estate School on Route 17 North, right next to Uncle Giuseppe's. And we are collecting basically anything that you can plug in: computers, printers, small appliances, wires, cell phones, VCRs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Basically anything with a plug. The recycling efforts will be benefiting the Grace Foundation. And so if you're around and you haven't already done this in your own township, come out and visit us on Sunday. This is me. You already know me. I'm going to stop share. And excellent. So it took me 15 minutes to get through all those strategies. We've got 15 minutes left, and I want to hear either questions about what I said or your decluttering tips. Who wants to go first? Oh, by the way, you can unmute yourself now. Come on. Did I overwhelm you, underwhelm you? You all are smart. Look, do we have any guys on here? I was going to say ladies, but I don't know.
Jean Marie, I have a question about the recycling event.
Yeah.
At Terry O'Connor's.
Yes.
If I have computer items like old laptops and things like that, do they have to be deprogrammed or something, or what? I mean,
Yeah,
so
I would say we'll recycle them,
them,
but if you're concerned that there's information on them, then you should wipe it before you give it to us, because that's really a different service. These are going to be recycled. Basically, they're going to be taken apart, but I can't, you know, I mean, it's all on the up and up, but if you have any concern that there's information on there, you can take it apart and scratch it up or throw it in bleach water or whatever you want to do.
Oh, that's a thought. Because I have no idea how to do. They're so old. I don't even know where the plugs are for them, or
right,
how to even go about doing that. But you're right. If you just maybe put bleach or do something like that, that sort of.
I'm going to ask Laura, because I see Laura on the call, and I don't know if she's got a thought here. She was our guest speaker last month or the month before. I think it was last month. So she works with all kinds of computers. Laura, do you have maybe an answer for Grace in terms of an easy way to wipe computers clean?
Well, it's going to be recycled. Is that correct?
It is correct.
Yeah. So you could just use Windex. Use a little Windex. Just wipe it down that way. And as far as your computer, is there any way you can take the hard drive out of that computer, Grace?
Gee, you think I know what that is and where that is?
Oh, okay. So just listen, take a little Windex, clean everything down with the Windex. And like you said, just put a little bleach on that. You'll be fine.
We're not talking about cleaning it. We're talking about cleaning it in terms of the memory.
You would have to get that hard drive out of there, Grace.
Okay.
I mean, if you
she takes a screwdriver.
If you have a standalone, it's junk anyway, right?
Right.
You don't want it. So just take your screwdriver, open up the screw. Once you open up everything, once you see your standalone, you'll see the hard drive. You know what one looks like? It kind of looks like, hold on, it kind of looks like this.
Putting Laura on the spot here.
That's right. It kind of looks like something like this, maybe. Okay. And it would be plugged into your computer. Just unplug it, take this piece out. It kind of looks like this. It might be a little flatter, but it might look something like this, and it's plugged in, and just take it out.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, you can, like you said, bleach or put it in water.
Something,
but it's kind of gonna look kind of like this.
Okay. So it doesn't matter because you're not, Jean Marie, they're not being donated like whole. They're being donated as parts, so it doesn't matter that it doesn't have a hard drive.
They're literally being taken apart for scrap. So that's why we make a tiny bit of money on it. So, you know, we take it back to the company that does this legally, properly, and then the little bit of money that we'll make from the recycling will go to the Grace Foundation.
I'm so excited about this because I have so many of those things, those old iPods and cameras and, do you take cameras?
Yep.
Little cam. Okay, great.
Yep.
You don't have as much as me. I'll be down there.
Cool. All right, next question. Sue, go ahead and unmute.
Jean, if you have time, would you go into a little more detail on round to resources? That sounds fascinating.
Sure. So most of you know that in my new career now with the junk luggers, we try to give to as many charities as possible. Anyways, round two resource, there's a gal by the name of Wendy Lamada, and she used to be a professional boxer. This is really interesting. And she's retired from her boxing accolades. That's the wrong word, but from her boxing career. And she started this charity called Round Two Resources. And what she does is she finds donors in affluent areas who want to donate their gently used furniture, and then she matches them with recipients in underprivileged areas. And then the way we get involved is she donates, like, say, $150 to us, and then we transport the items from the donor to the recipient. So for example, we might find out that there's a bedroom set in Ramsey, New Jersey, that somebody wants to let go of, and that there's, you know, a family in Jersey City that needs a bedroom set. So then we'll take it, the junk luggers will take it from Ramsey down to Jersey City. And that's how it works. She's very, very active in the Hudson County area in terms of the recipients, and the donors tend to come from, you know, the northern New Jersey area. But her name is Wendy Lamada. Round Two Resources is the name of the charity. And one of our franchise owners, Mike Gorman, is doing a fundraiser for her to help the charity. And that was why I mentioned it. And if anybody wants any more information, just send me an email to jeanmarie.herron@junkluggers.com. So JEANMARIE.HERRON @junkluggers, JUNKLUGGERS.com. And I'm happy to send you info.
And does she have a website, Round Two Resources?
Yes.
I like the name.
I'm pretty sure she does.
Round Two with boxing,
yeah.
right?
ROUND2 resources, probably.com. I don't have the slide up anymore. And yeah, she's incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so what was your favorite tip out of the 10 tips I gave you? Did anybody have a favorite? Okay, did you know them all?
They're all great, Jean Marie.
I like the one in, one out.
I was going to say the same thing, Grace. That you have the same thing.
Okay.
One in, one out.
I like the creating boundaries, and it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Because for every area, like in my closet, I know I need to, when I bring my spring clothes in and get rid of my winter, I know I should have a boundary about how many sweaters I save or how many winter socks I save.
Right.
But then I'm at a loss as to how to decide that.
So you're at a loss on how to decide the amount or the space?
Exactly.
The amount? So
either boundary. If I say a box, how big of a box? If I say 10 pair, is that adequate, you know?
Okay, so one of the things you could think about in trying to make that decision is, I understand that you swap your seasons, which to me means that your current bedroom setup, whether it's dressers, closets, drawers, etc., is whatever your season is. And then your off season is living somewhere else. And then you bring that stuff back in when the seasons change. So what you could do, for example, with the sock example, is say, what is a good enough size for the way I live for my socks? So is it one drawer? Might it be half a drawer? I mean, you know how you walk. And what I mean by that is, you know what shoes you wear, you know whether your feet are hot or cold, you know, you probably have a washer and a dryer. So in the course of, you know, a week, should you run out of socks, you can, you know, do a load of wash. But, you know, for somebody like a skier, maybe they might need a really large drawer for winter socks. Somebody else might be able to take a spring-loaded drawer divider in a drawer, put a spring-loaded drawer divider in, and have heavy socks on one side and normal socks on the other. So I guess my questions, if I was there organizing today, would be just how many socks do you think you would wear in maybe a 2-week period? And are you okay with keeping 2 weeks worth of socks based on the way you live? So everybody's different.
Sure. One related question. We have a lot of odd socks that we keep hoping to find the matches for, but we probably never will. So I would rather donate them. Somebody said there's a place you can donate things like that, even old towels. Well, I know towels go to the pets, but rags and scraps and single socks. Where would I donate? Somebody said there's a place you can donate them where somebody will use them for stuffing or for whatever. But I don't think it's the Vietnam vets, but maybe it is.
So typically what happens is even if it's just one sock, you can still donate to a place like the vets or breast cancer, et cetera, because here's why. Because if they can't use them in a restore type of a situation, they all have a resource where they give the textiles for, turning into rags, et cetera. They've got a secondary resource where those socks or towels or whatever it is can't be given to another human being or can't be resold, but it can definitely be recycled.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I had this one client, she was so cute. She would tell me all the time, she said, go ahead and donate everything to the vets, even though it's just one, because you know what, they might only have one leg. And she was really sincere about it. And
right.
She was, yeah. And so I was like, that's fantastic. So I would do that. Okay, we have another couple of minutes.
Jean, I don't know if this is on topic or not, but I have some rugs I need to donate. Any ideas?
Did you say runs or rugs?
Rug, R-U-G.
Oh.
Any ideas?
Rugs are really, really hard from a sanitation perspective, similar to mattresses, because rugs can get moths and all kinds of other things.
Actually, I had them professionally cleaned.
Okay, so if you had them professionally cleaned, depending on the size, would it be a one-man carry or are these really large rugs?
Both.
Okay, so a one-man carry, you can easily donate to your typical charity partner that picks up, any of the ones you would call to come to your home. A two-man carry, what I would do is I would try Habitat for Humanity, but I would send a picture first. And then thirdly is I would Google it. Like I would Google donating large rugs, because often what we can find is on the internet is another charity that we might not know about. Like there might be something going on right now in a school system. Like you never know. The charities change all the time. And you can also try any of your free marketplace places. So since this is a donation, if you don't need a tax receipt for any reason, you could do Facebook Marketplace free. You could do Craigslist free. You could do Buy Nothing Project, Next Door Neighbor. All those local social media platforms are more than happy to take your stuff for free. You just have to, vet carefully.
Yeah, one of them is actually quite valuable. It's all wool, and very in excellent condition. So I don't think there's any resale value, is there?
You'd have to, I would call, do you have a carpet or a floor vendor that you love?
Yeah.
Okay, I would call your floor person and I would tell them, listen, I've got a beautiful, valuable, professionally cleaned XYZ. Do you know of a place that would take it, etc.? The other thing that just popped into my head is, are you familiar with KAIO? Is anybody on this call familiar with KAIYO? Carlene is. So they pick up higher end furniture, and I'm wondering if they would also do rugs. So I would check their website. They're in our area all the time. I actually just saw a truck on Route 17 this morning. So KAIYO.com. And I bet you they do take rugs.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, guys, it's 1 o'clock. Any last minute questions before we get off for the month? All right, so hopefully I'll see you all next month. We said, hang on, June 1, 2, 3, 15, 12:30. Yep. And our topic, this is Maggie. She's like saying, come on, Mom. June 15th, 12:30 to 1 o'clock, decluttering on a really, really large scale. And hopefully I'll see some of you at our e-waste event this weekend. All right, take care, ladies. Remember, if you want to see more videos on my organizing, productivity, and decluttering topics, hit the subscribe button and you'll be alerted when the next one is ready.